What will the Washington Commanders do at pick 29? There's only two options. Will we trade back to gather more picks, or will we stay put and take best player available? I can see the argument for both choices. Also, top 30 visits have been completed. Do you see a trend on the players that we've been keeping an eye on? And last but not least, new stadium coming 2030? All that and more coming up on this episode of the Raise Hell Zell podcast. First thing I want to talk to y'all about is our top 30 visits, right? We have completed our top 30 visits. They've pretty much completed. I don't know if we got all 30 players in there, but we got a good amount, right? From the ones that I've seen that we've taken a look at, or that were at least invited to Top Golf, 4 tackles, 4 offensive tackles, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 5 defensive backs, 5 edge rushers, right? So this regime, meaning Adam Peters, Dan Quinn, they definitely know what they're doing. Us as fans, we've been advocating for these players. We know we need an edge rush. We know we would like another defensive back, specifically corner. We know we can still shore up the offensive line, and we know we could use another wide receiver. You know, we just don't know what Luke McCaffrey will turn out to be, right? And that's exactly who they have invited for visits. Let's go over the list I have. So, offensive tackle that we've had on our top 30 visit, Josh Connolly Jr., probably top 3 tackle in this draft out of Oregon. I don't think he's going to be there at 29, but wouldn't be, the worst idea to talk to him and see where his head at, just in case. You never know. Also, offensive tackle Gerard Christian, Oregon State, Anthony Belton, North Carolina State, Wyatt Millum, offensive tackle West Virginia. Wyatt Millum is also up there with the offensive line players. I think he'll probably end up being more of a guard just because of his size. But they added 4 offensive line players. They invited 4 offensive line players to their top 30 visits. So they already know, like, one of these offensive line player is on the table to be drafted for sure, right? 2 running backs were invited as well. Ollie Gordon III and Jacoby Krosky Merritt. Now, we know Ollie Gordon. He had a very good season 2 years ago for Oklahoma State. Didn't really put up the numbers that you would expect him to put up last year because of the team in general just wasn't good. And when they trotted out there on the field, all teams had to do was stop Ollie Gordon. And that's pretty much what it is. Jacoby Krosky Merritt. A lot of people might not know who this is. He played. I don't think he played last year. I think he might have started 1 game. But when I watched the tape on him, he's pretty solid. If he goes undrafted, I think we're going to draft the running back for sure. But we might get another undrafted running back as well. And he could definitely be one of those running backs if no one drafts him, right? Wide receiver, we had Trey Harris. And this is one of my favorite wide receivers of this group. Size, length. When I watch the tape, he does it all. I really like him at 29 out of wide receivers. We also invited Pat Bryant out of Illinois, and also Arian Smith out of Georgia. Speedster Arian Smith out of Georgia. Really, really fast. I like him as well. Cornerbacks, we invited Maxwell Harrison. Really, really fast, just undersized. But We'll see how the league. I really don't see us drafting him only because it seems to me that Dan Quinn's defensive, the corner, he likes him a little bit bigger and lengthier more than anything. But it wouldn't hurt to see where his mind is at, just in case he does fall to us. You never know, right? Also, Quincy Riley, who we've had multiple visits with, if I'm not mistaken, or at least Zoom calls and talks with this offseason. Definitely could see him getting picked up in the later rounds. Carlin Vigors out of Louisville Monroe, and also Jalen Smith out of USC. Also invited a safety, Jonas Sanker out of Virginia. I kind of like him as well. I think we can, if he's there in the later rounds, maybe around 5, I wouldn't be mad at that, right? Edge. Now this is the meat of the group because I think we need an edge so much, right? Donovan Ezaraku was invited, and I think this is like the fan favorite at this point. Obviously, if he's at 29, that's who I want. But there's an option. There's a reality where he might not be there at 29, right? So we got to keep that in mind. David Walker, Central Arkansas. Aston Galat, Louisville. Oluwafemi Oladejo. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Out of UCLA. Really, really raw talent, but an athlete, a big athlete, has a tremendous upside. And also Aiden Huntington out of Tulane. Oh, and also another cornerback, Jahdae Barron, but he's not making it to it. So I have him top 20 at least. So I'm not even putting that in my mind that he's going to be there for us. Really, really good. Even though I think he's more of a slot corner, I still think he's really, really good. And he may be like a Mikey Sanders still, where he can play both. You never know. But those are the notable guys that we've invited for top 30 visits, right? There seems to be a trend with, what Adam Peters has done this offseason. It's kind of predictable the direction we're going to go in this draft because of the off-season additions that we've made, right? We essentially put ourselves in a position where we can draft best player available at all of our picks, right? Because we shored up the defensive line. Granted, there are still players who aren't necessarily known for getting to the cornerback, and we can use one. At least we have solid rotational bodies there, right? Because at the end of the day, it's hard to put all that on a rookie defensive end to come in and get you 10 plus sacks in his rookie season. That's a lot to ask, right? So if the way the draft folds, we might not take a defensive end first player available if there's a better player available at a different position, right? So he essentially put us in a position where we can just go into the draft freely with fresh minds and say, hey, who's the best player left on our board? Let's get him. And I appreciate that because in years past, we would kind of make things work in our minds. Like we would reach for players to fill holes that we needed, i.e. Emmanuel Forbes, right? So this is the direction we're going in. He put us in a position where we don't need these rookies to come in day one and be the savior of our defense, be the savior of our offense. We added weapons on offense as well. Could we use more linemen? Yeah, we could use more linemen. Could we use another weapon on wide receiver? Sure. Could we use a stud running back, speedster to go with our running back room? Sure. But it's not do or don't at the end of the day. We will still be a really solid team without any players in this draft. So these players that are coming in are pluses instead of like coming into, being a savior. And I appreciate that. So moving on. What are we going to do at 29, right? What are the Commanders going to do at 29? There's pretty much 2 ways this can go. Stay at 29, best player available, right? Whoever they think is the best player available on their board, right? Or trade back, accumulate another pick or two, trade back somewhere where you still are in position to still get some really solid players in the later rounds, right? But let's say we do stay at 29. I have 4 players, as you can see on the thumbnail, that I think are my favorite players to land at 29. These are my favorite players to land at 29, that I want to land at 29. First player, of course, is Donovan Ezaraku, right? Donovan Ezaraku, I wrote down some notes for him. He's had a really good, solid college career. You know, came into Boston College as a rotational player. By his time, his senior, he was ACC Defensive Player of the Year. 20 and a half tackles for loss last season. Tremendous. Has very tremendous upside. 6'2", 248. Also had about 16 and a half sacks last season, which is the record for Boston College. If you had to ask me who I want at number 1, it would be Donovan Ezaraku, number 1. But if he's not there, I also like Tre Harris, man. I really, really like Tre Harris. Watching his tape, I don't see why he's not talked about a little bit more. I mean, a lot of people have him in the top 7 range of their wide receivers. Top 6 maybe. I have him in my top 3. I have him, Tataroa, and it's Tre Harris for me. I really like Tre Harris. I mean, he ran a 4.5 40, 6'2", but he plays big. He plays above everyone else when I watch him, and I really, really like that as a player. I feel like he would come into, with the way our wide receiver room is, he would have the biggest impact in my mind. So we got Tre Harris. We also got Luther Burden. I also like Luther Burden. He's like a Swiss Army knife, man. He could return punts. He's like another Deebo Samuel. So if Deebo Samuel doesn't work out, you have Luther Burden who can come in and fill his spot. You can give him, the ball on the end around, out of the backfield. Just get the ball in his hands any type of way. He's the type of guy that can make it happen once it's in his hands, right? He make anything happen once it's in his hands. He ran a 4.4 140 out of Missouri. Didn't quite have the year last year that a lot of people were expecting, but that could be due to a lot of reasons. I wouldn't hold that too harsh on him. And last, number 4 guy I got is TreVeyon Henderson. He has a real chance of falling to us. Ashton Jeanty's not going to be there. I don't think Omarion Hampton's going to be there. I think TreVeyon Henderson is going to get around that 25 to 35 range. And we have a really good chance of landing him. So those are my top 4 favorite guys that I want us, if we were to stick with that pick, that's who I would want us to get. These 4 players. These are the 4 players that if we come away with any of these players, I'm the happiest person on the planet, right? So moving on, man. I also wanted to talk to y'all real quick about the stadium, right? So, it was announced that we are very close. We're in the red zone of bringing the stadium back to DC. And I know most fans, majority of the fans, love this idea, and they want this to be back in the city of DC as it rightfully should, just like how it used to be back in the day. But there's also a lot of people who live in the area who are opposed to this decision, and they're going to fight, or they're going to have a say in this, because a lot of people who live in the area also have a lot of money, and they also have a lot of say with what goes in within the city. So we're going to be fighting that, and as well, and also there's going to be job cuts, I heard as well, right? So pretty much Josh Harris and his team is paying for $2.5 billion of it. and then the city is paying for about $850 million. That was one of the proposed, pay routes to get this deal done. If that's the case, Mayor Bowser has already said there will be job cuts. There will be cuts around the city to make this happen so that the city can afford to pay for this. So you also got to think about that. Some people are going to lose their jobs, which is unfortunate, very, very unfortunate. And there's also people who don't want the stadium because it's going to cause traffic. It's going to cause a lot of ruckus in that area, a lot of flow, a lot of people that some people just don't like, right? But at the end of the day, I think it's going to get done because Josh Harris, lifelong fan, has already stated he wants it and needs it back in DC. He's going to get it done. Most of the fans wanted it in DC, and DC government would love to have this in DC because it won't just be for the Commanders. It could possibly be for the Olympics. It could be for concerts. It's a year-round venue that will make the city a lot of money going forward. A whole lot of money going forward. So, with that being said, it looks like it's happening for 100%. Can't say 100% yet, but it's looking like it's going to happen, right? For me, I want it to be a dome. I just want it to be, somewhere where you don't have to worry about the weather. Jaden Daniels can come out there for years and years to come and play at a neutral site where he doesn't have to worry about the weather. He doesn't have to worry about it being cold. He's from California. He can make sure he he feel good. He get out there and he play his best ball. That's what I really want. And if it's not a dome, it'll be something with a retractable roof. Those are the two options. Obviously, something with a retractable roof would probably cost a lot more money. Do we need a retractable roof? I don't think we need it. But that's also on the table. I don't think we're going to get a stadium where it's just open and you can't close it, right? Also Metro, right? So obviously the Metro in the area, that's going to be the main transportation to get to the stadium. Where the stadium is located, it's not in a place where there's a lot of parking that they can build. So that's going to be something that they got to figure out. Can they make room for parking? I can't imagine them not having tailgating out there. I think that'll get done. That'll get figured out as well. But just how congested it is, most of the fans are probably going to use the Metro, and rightfully so, because that's going to also bring in money for the city, right? People catching the Metro straight to the stadium. I can see it being like different shops around there too, food, entertainment parts, all kinds of stuff is going to be going on down there, man. So I'm excited for it. We got to wait 5 years, but it's worthy. It's going to be a great 5 years because hopefully we get a Super Bowl in the meantime. So I'm definitely looking for that. So, man, that's all I got for y'all. Who do you want at 29? You know what I'm saying? If it's not one of these four players, who would you rather take at 29? Do you like the idea of the stadium coming back to DC? I know I do. So let me know down in the comments. Please like, subscribe, and comment. And turn on that notification button as well, man. Again, I try to post as often as I can. And I love this team, man, and I want to enjoy our glory days that are here to come and here to stay with all of y'all. So y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day, and peace out.